everybody. Hi. Karis and Victoria here, and we have our staffs. So when I was in New
I
Orleans,
hit myself with mine.
it was saying hello. When I was in New Orleans, I got this staff in the middle of the night one night, and I had no idea why, because I already have mine. And this is a palm tree, like it's this tall. It's this tall. It's sitting on the ground right now. It's really intense, magical, and it even still has like New Orleans like dirt on it. So it's definitely holding the vector, the energetic vector. I love it.
Karis gifted this to me.
Yeah, just today she was holding my staff for me. She said, "Ooh, I think I need a walking staff," and I was like, "Well, that's why I got that staff. I had no idea I was going around with two staffs. I've never used it since the night I got it. I always use this one." So guys, if you want a staff, just set an intention. One will just appear.
Yeah.
Like it really will.
Totally.
So we're going to talk about today going into the land of fairy, because we have been all day, and how to spot it. So here's some tips for you guys. You'll go through things like doorways in nature. So like Victoria's under one right now. Let's see. Can you see it on the thing? Can you like outline it with your hand so they can see where it is? See, that is part of it, and then that is part of it. Yeah, the big one. And it's hard to see kind of, but there's also a doorway here that comes into these trees. This is just a triangle of 3 pine trees at Maymont. Ooh, it's the second triangle of 3 pine trees at Maymont I've seen.
Yeah.
Interesting. But these things are everywhere, and even when you go hiking, just check for the arches, check for, what else did we see? Like, oh, if there are a bunch of vines, look and see what they might be outlining. Like, look at the unspaces.
Karis is amazing. She's been showing me how to like open my eyes to all of that stuff. We tend to miss that stuff because it is kind of conveniently hidden.
Yeah,
you know?
it's hidden in plain sight, you know?
Yeah.
So when you go through an arch, we got to do this, and Victoria did it, and it was good. So how does it work?
It feels like you're literally crossing dimensions.
So say how to do it. So like in this archway, how would you do it? It's the way you go under the arch, you guys.
So you would come up here, you would exhale completely and let go of, so you would let go of anything that you don't need anymore, any of that old stale energy. So you would take a breath, exhale, and then as you're coming through,
so you're totally empty when you actually step through.
Yeah, and then you inhale as you're coming through, and then it's like, it's amazing.
What happened when you did it?
Everything smelled different, and it literally, it was very subtle, but it was like
and the light was kind of different?
The light was different.
Yeah.
It was totally a different dimension.
So speaking of light, now that we're back in spring, let's talk about sungazing.
Okay.
So I'm going to set this camera up again.
Oh, what did we do yesterday, Karis?
Oh my gosh, we chased the sun like psychotic people.
Yeah,
it was
did.
amazing.
It was fun.
It was all over the city. And the way that you chase the sun is this: if the sun's going down and you want to get it, because the way you sun gaze first is you don't just look at the sun when it's in the sky. That will burn your eyes out. That is not what we're advocating. The way we've sun gazed makes our eyes feel great, and it has actually literally improved my vision. I don't have street signs be blurry to me anymore. They were a couple years ago, and then I started sun gazing, and that stopped. So
it's another form of nourishment, you know? It's like you're literally eating. The sun is fueling you in a different way. It's amazing. And you say that it makes you feel like you don't need to eat, right?
I have so much energy. And now with sleep schedules, the way that I do it is when I sun gaze, I'm gonna be good on energy for a few hours after that. I can still eat if I want. Like I'm not trying to starve myself. I don't go on conscious fasts. Yeah. It's just the urge to eat. And you can see I'm very full of vitality. Like I'm not washed out. Like I have muscles on my body.
We were like talking about that the other day, and she was like sun gazing.
And it makes sleeping better. Okay, so the way you do it is you wait till the sun is at the horizon. Anybody can do this. There's one school of thought that says that you should do 10 seconds a day and then every day increase it by 10 seconds. And I did that for a while, and I really did not like it. That's just me, not saying anything against that technique. However, I think it's really ancient, and when they made it, possibly the way that the sun hit the planet was different because our atmosphere was different. Who knows where we were and like the galaxy and that kind of thing. So now, for instance, some days I would want to keep looking longer, because what you'll find is when you look at it, it's delicious.
I feel like I can't look away. Like my eyes are just glued there.
And it's when it's at the horizon,
so good.
really low on the horizon. It doesn't burn your eyes out because it goes through all the atmosphere. So the whole atmosphere of the Earth is acting as a filter for you. So it doesn't hurt your eyes. People love to look at sunsets and sunrises.
Well, also another thing, sorry to interrupt you, but
please do.
Another thing that I kind of base it on and gauge it on is Like really intuitive everything is so important. So when you look at I mean, obviously, if you look up at the sun right now, like if we weren't covered with these trees, if you were to look up,
bright.
you wouldn't even be able to look. You would
It doesn't
look and
feel
then
good.
it wouldn't feel good. You would want to look away immediately. The way I base it, it's actually sometimes I sun gaze when the sun is not that low, but you can still look at it and it starts to pull you.
Yeah.
And that's how you know.
But
Because
when
I
you
mean,
definitely start really low.
Yeah,
Because you
start
have to
low,
learn
yeah.
and you want to be safe.
True,
Because
true.
times when I went, for instance, some days I would want to look away, maybe the atmosphere was thinner, or maybe the sun was brighter, maybe it was flaring that day or something.
Yeah.
And I would hold it for the 10 seconds, and a couple times I had a spot in my vision for like a day afterward, and I was scared.
Yeah.
Generally, when you sun gaze, especially when you learn, how long does a spot stay in your vision? Like 1 minute,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Not as long as a light bulb in a room, you know? So start doing it, just do it for as long as feels yummy, and talk about the intuition thing. Like, doesn't it feel kind of like food? Like
It
when I see a really
does.
beautiful sunset now, I'm like, yeah.
Karis always goes, boop, 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 whenever
It
we're
feels like
sun
your
gazing. It's like
it
that.
feels like your tank is filling up, but your
It
tank
is.
and it's not your stomach. It's your central nervous system. Is
Yeah,
how it feels.
yeah.
So that's how you sun gaze. Try it. If you don't like it, just stop.
Yeah.
You're not going to burn out your eyes in a
No.
day. I know people might be scared to do this, and if you're scared, don't do it. Only do it if it feels really good. Only do it if you don't notice any negative effects. You know.
And if you feel drawn to it, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember you're the one who first told me about sun gazing. Actually, I may have heard from other people too, but I remember just being like really drawn to the idea, and I was like, I want to do it. I really want to do it. But I just never could get up or find that, you know, I lived in the city, so I was like, how am I going to find the sun? It just won't work. And that's another good point,
Yes.
is that you can find it when you're in the city.
Yes. 2 ways. One, if you're worried about getting up too early, just get up and sun gaze and go right back
Yeah.
to bed.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
look online and say, this is what time the sun comes up in my area. I'm a sun gaze, and then I'm just going to go back to bed. You'll probably only want to do that for a couple days, actually, because you'll have so much energy. But then if you're looking for the sun during sunrise or sunset and you know it's kind of coming through, turn around and look at where it's shining. Like look at where it's shining on the wall as it's really low, as that golden, yummy light comes. And then just go put your head right where it's shining and then turn around and the sun will be right there
Yeah.
in your eyes. As long as your head is inside the shine,
Yeah.
then it'll go in both of your eyes and it feels really good.
And I live in the city, and you can always just, you know, get out in your car or on a bike and just drive or bike somewhere where you can see it. You know, there's
Most
always
cities
gonna
you
be
just
some-
go out on the
Yeah.
sidewalk and there'll be
Yeah,
a spot.
there's
somewhere.
always going to be something.
Yeah,
So.
you live in the middle of the city. I just walked right outside your building
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just stood there on the sidewalk for like not even a minute looking at it. I don't even think anybody noticed or
Yeah.
saw me. You know, it's not like a big deal or anything.
Yeah, there is. I remember when I first started doing it, like in public, like with people around, I felt a little self-conscious. But then that's also a really strong empowerment practice. You know, to stick
really
with
is.
that which you believe in. You know, and even if it's
And
not.
you're just looking at a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, you are,
Like,
yeah.
and it is true that when you sun gaze, sometimes you
I get
really
so
lost
drawn
it.
in, yeah.
And so usually I do like to do it alone because, especially for those of you empaths, you can feel like people's emotions. They kind of like might push at you a little bit and be distracting.
Yeah.
So it's better to do it by yourself at first, maybe, and also it's more fun in nature, like
It
in the woods
is.
or in on the beach is where I started. It's really good. Ooh, the tree swing. Okay, so what else? Oh, sleep schedules. Now that the days are getting longer, you might want an unconventional sleep schedule. The way I usually sleep is about 4 to 6 hours at night and then about 2 or 3 hours during the day. What that means for me is that I get 2 productive days. So usually if I sleep all night long and wake up at, I don't know, 6, right? I'm kind of puttering around till 7 or 8, and then my productivity is only good until like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then I dump. And then the rest of the day I'm just kind of, maybe I might get creative stuff, but I'm not really going to get the stuff done on my to-do list at all. But when I would dump at 1 or so, I take a nap for like 2 hours. And I know everyone can't do this because you have jobs, 9 to 5 type things, but I'll tell you guys how to do that. Anyway, when I wake back up, I'm up on another peak again. So it's like you get 2 productive days for 1 calendar day. And then for those of you who go to work, you could do something like when you come home, say you get off at 5 and you get home at 6, you could go right to bed there and then sleep for a couple hours and then wake up and it's only 8 o'clock. And then you would be up for a few more hours and stuff like that, go to bed at 11, get up the next day at like 6 or 7. That's plenty of hours. You know, you can do it, and it does cool things to your psyche. And I know you don't like to sleep short periods at night, but you still like napping during the day.
Yeah.
What is it to
Yeah, I like napping if I can get a nap in. It's really nice. It's just obviously you just wake up refreshed, and but I don't really have. I have the schedule to do it, but I am so I'm not
It doesn't
going
make the
to,
top of the
yeah,
priority
it
list
just
all
it
the time.
doesn't. Yeah,
For
so
me
I
either.
prefer to just make like just sleep fully throughout the night. I did try that once though, and I felt a little bit tired. Like I
Yeah,
think
so
you said
people
it
are
takes a little
different.
while. Tell them
Well,
though.
it took me about a week, I think.
Yeah.
And the way I started was I would get up for about a 2-hour span in the middle of the night. So I would go to sleep at like 9 and get up from like 1 to 3, and then get back up in the morning. And from 1 to 3, I would get up, make myself a cup of tea, do some writing. That you creative people, that's really great time to do it. And yeah, that's how it worked. And then I got really used to it. And it felt really good.
I think that's our cue to go.
Yes, I think so. So much love, you guys. Go in peace. Have fun sungazing. Happy full moon tomorrow. Return to the goddess, blood moon, and lunar eclipse, and all that kind of stuff. Here's some view of our beautiful tree. Oh, and there's, like I said, there's a doorway that we came in. People are on the other side doing golf and I don't even know what. But much love. Go in peace. Ooh, let's do the thing. Okay. Peace. Live long and prosper. Love you. Shaka. And twirl it down. Woo! Okay, bye guys.